Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. Ohio State women's basketball enters the week ranked 13th in the latest AP poll. Buckeyes bested USC 88-83 Sunday and will welcome number 8 Michigan Wednesday at 8. Hear the game on the Fan 2 starting at 7:45. Men's college hoops, a Franklin County judge granted Ohio State wing Puff Johnson a preliminary injunction in his case against the NCAA, awarding him eligibility the rest of the season. His Buckeyes visit Iowa Wednesday at 9, which you can hear on the Fan starting at 8. MLB spring training, Guardians host the Diamondbacks in Goodyear, Arizona at 3:05. Right-hander Tanner Bybee starts for Cleveland, while the Reds are out before greeting the Royals, also from Goodyear, Tuesday at 3:05. This update sponsored by Germain Toyota. For unbeatable service and sales, visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right. Jack Hughes, game winner. Here we go. The only way to start a show. 60, 80, 26. We got the gold again.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. I said on Friday, print the shirts. It was a little premature, but I was feeling good about where this thing could have gone, AR. And the boys over there in Italy got it done. Our guy Z right there in the middle of everything. And we got ourselves a gold medal, brother. It felt amazing. I was thinking about you yesterday, thinking about a lot of hockey lovers here in Columbus as well, and I know they had to thoroughly enjoy that moment. My excitement was through the roof when Hughes brought that baby home.
I started thinking about you guys and the fact that there was a chance that, well, first of all, you guys weren't alive during the last one.
Yeah.
So think about how many things like that guys like me were very young and obviously knew about it. It didn't penetrate my life in 80, certainly. But I've grown to love it. I've grown to make it probably now the best sporting event in history.
Okay.
Like nothing pales, not this one from yesterday, but 80 was it.
Yeah.
And 80 will always be its own because of the college kids and because of the time where if you look up and down that roster, it was Minnesota and Michigan and Wisconsin. And when you think about what it is now and what it can be, it makes it unbelievable to think about how USA Hockey is now the top of the world, men's and women's, to get gold in the same year. Yeah. And now it's Jack Hughes being a Florida kid and Austin Matthews being an Arizona kid. And now there are guys on this roster from Alaska and Connecticut and St. Louis. And it's not just Michigan and Mass and Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I think there was only one guy or maybe two from Wisconsin on that roster in 80. But I started thinking about, because I remember saying this about a week ago, that it's bittersweet, but it's so sweet. The torch had to be passed. It was eventually going to happen. And Canada was the immovable object for the USA, whether it was Four Nations or before that, or whether it was Vancouver or Sochi or whatever in the quarters or semis, I think. Maybe it was quarters, I can't remember. And it was always Canada. And we were always on the wrong side of an overtime. We're always on the wrong side of it. And the way that game was going yesterday, it felt like it was meant to be, and it also felt like a gut punch was coming in the very same thought. I'm sure if you were on the Canadian side, you felt like USA was going to win that game, that there were way too many non-finishes. That layup that McKinnon misses, and make no mistake, that is an absolute layup. He could blindfold himself and make 98 out of 100 from there. And the fact that he had his eyes open and missed it felt like it was meant to be. And when Hellebuck gets his stick on a puck that just can be bumped in, it doesn't make sense. But you start getting this meant to be feel.
Destiny, man.
Except when you go to overtime. And overtime changes everything. And there's an old phrase in sports that overtime is where underdogs go to die. And we weren't that big of an underdog. We were an underdog going into overtime, though. 3-on-3. And when they put, McKinnon and McDavid and Makar out there for 3-on-3, they have a distinct advantage. It feels like they do, except we had it where it counted, and we had it in goal. And going into the Olympics, they had the depth, we had the goaltending. But Hellebuck, as great as he's been in the NHL, the 3 Vezinas and all that, he still hasn't been able to scale the top of the mountain, hasn't played his best in the playoffs, and to come up with the greatest game of his life for a gold medal game against Canada, there aren't enough words. And then everything that was wrapped around it, like you said, whether it was the 5-on-3 that we kill off and the fact that we did not give up a power play goal the entire tournament, and the fact that then we had the 2-man advantage that quickly flipped because of another penalty, and then you go 4-on-4, and now the whole narrative's changed. Because at that point, the game is on our stick late in the game. And the fact that you look at some of these guys like Brady Tkachuk, who's on the bench verbally telling his guys, we are winning this game. We are winning this game. Stay confident, because they had lost their edge. Canada had completely taken over that game in the second period. It was their game. So you start feeling who has the pressure because they keep missing grade A chances, and our goalie keeps coming up with another way to stop a puck and to give our team a chance. But overtime's a different beast. They clean the ice, everything changes, and one little puck that bounces the wrong way. I've watched the game-winning goal 100 times, and I'm telling you, it's all going to be focused on Jack and Z, but if you go back, if Jack doesn't somehow bat that puck forward, if that puck hits Makar's shin and doesn't get by him, it's 2-on-none, game's over. Game is over. He swats at a puck, it goes forward, Z gets control, abuses McKinnon off the puck, and the fact that puck just stays there. It doesn't slide to the corner. It doesn't go with them into the end boards. It's just there, and it's on a tee. And Z is the most calm, collected guy I've ever seen play, and he just finds Jack just streaming in, and then he doesn't miss the guy that lost 2 teeth not long ago in the game. The whole thing, you don't have to be a hockey lover to really find incredible joy and coolness about that game yesterday and the result. We were headed for potentially another gut punch. We were, because we had the lead. We felt like we lost our edge. We had to kind of nurse it in overtime. Eddie Olczyk, who played for the Blackhawks when I was younger, he was on record on that game yesterday at the 9-minute mark saying, we've got to sign up for overtime. Like if the USA would sign up for overtime right now, that's how much he felt that ice was tilted towards Canada.
Tell you this, man, it was, again, for me, one of those moments where I'm watching a sporting event and I'll never forget where I was. I wanted to make it a mission to be around people yesterday just to see, was this game grabbing the attention of people? So I was at the gym. Game started at 8. I was like, I'm locking in. I'm going to get there. I'll tell you what, AR, throughout the entire game, I saw multiple people stopping what they were doing, heads up looking at the TV screens. And when that goal went in, there were cheers in the gym that I was at. And that's what it's done, I think, for, like you're saying, just an average sports fan. When you see that USA across the chest, whether we're talking basketball, hockey, soccer, baseball, whatever it is, it brings everybody together. And the hype around this game was clearly through the roof. You mentioned how many years it was since we've been to the top of this mountain. That makes it even more special. And what they had to go through throughout the game, you just laid it out really, really well. The breaks that you have to catch in sports, but also the things that you have to do to take away from the other team. And that's exactly what Z did in that moment. I mean, Z is a soft-spoken, absolute killer out there on the ice, as we know. And the world got to see how great that dude is throughout this entire Olympic run. But that play right there, just all the little things that we know Z can bring to a team, that is one of the most memorable plays I'll remember in his career. Amongst great things was him just bodying that guy out of the way. And like you said, where the puck was and what he did after that was incredible. But, yeah, it was just goosebumps type of stuff, man. You couldn't help but be proud in that moment to just be a part of it as a fan, our country doing what they did. But specifically for us here in Columbus to watch our guy Z be right there in the middle of a historical moment was just awesome to see, man. And I just had me so hyped.
Yeah. So I'm watching, and I got up early, and they had, Kurt Russell, who famously played Herb Brooks in the movie Miracle, he voiced the beginning at about 7:50 in the morning. And the hype of the game, sometimes these games have actually lived up to the hype over the years. They really have. I think everything has, from Four Nations to this to the other Olympic Games we played against Canada. And to watch Jack Hughes, whose brother Quinn scores the game winner in overtime against Sweden, and then to have and then he gets the golden goal after cracking his teeth. It's almost, I started thinking about the family stuff. Like those two brothers scored overtime game winners, one on the way to goal, which, by the way, that's when Sweden tied us up late and we had to win it. Yeah. And as we know, overtime's a crapshoot. And it just feels like sometimes maybe you are meant to be. And they certainly, I was thinking about all the brothers, like the Watts and the Kelseys and the Mannings. Oh, yeah. All these brothers that have had great moments in sports history. And now these two on their way to the Olympics.
Jack was talking to the media after the game, and he was telling a story about how, like, the night before, obviously they're staying in the Olympic Village, he and his brother, and they can't sleep. And, they're just chatting back and forth, and his brother asked Jack, like, hey, what are you thinking about? He's like, I'm thinking about my game winner, like dreaming of that moment and being in that moment. So to wake up after that and that moment actually come to real life and come full circle, like you're saying, like, as the kids say, AR, just cinema. That's all it was yesterday, was just hockey cinema in its purest form. And those guys, and we're going to have these memories forever and ever, because we haven't had this since 1980. So these are just moments you got to cherish as a hockey fan in America, for sure.
Well, that's it. I mean, there are a lot of people that were watching yesterday that were not alive and when it happened. And this was their miracle, even though these were the best in the world, playing against the best in the world. Completely different time and era. But the Jack Hughes situation, the fact that Four Nations kind of moved from center to wing, he was injured for most of the Devil season, was injured late here going up to the Olympics, wanted to try to get healthy to play in the Olympics, kind of worked his way up the lines, got more ice time, earned it, and then got cracked along the way and thought he was going to go from GOAT to hero.
Maybe get him a Paul Wall grill, too, while we're at it.
And just, he was on the best line in the elimination tourney. And like I said, his brother Quinn getting the game winner against Sweden. And then the big moment, which was afterward, where Z and the Gaudreau family and the sweater goes out there and the kids on Johnny Jr.'s birthday. And the fact that this occurred on the exact, to the date, February 22nd, 1980, of Miracle on Ice, beating the Russians. And the fact that this happened on that day 46 years ago exactly. And then our guy Z, who comes on every couple of weeks for Hockey and Hounds, makes the play bumping McKinnon off and sets it up Hughes for the game winner. So here we are, all exhaling, because it was perhaps the greatest moment in sports history in a long, long, long time for a lot of people, and brought a lot of people together. Canada's side of this has taken on a little bit of an odd moment here from coach and player. Is the context being missed? We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
This radio station is more than 100 years old. And during that time, absolutely no one has hosted more shows than the Common Man. I don't know why we're bragging about that, but I just read the copy, okay? And then there's Timmy. What can I say about good old Timmy? Well, he's a heck of a guy. All right, let's cut the bull. Common Man and Timmy host a show that'll make you laugh at immature things, overreact to whatever's going on in the world of sports, and probably embarrass themselves in the process. And we love them for it. Common Man and Timmy. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Remember what sunshine feels like? Windows open, birds chirping, everything looking fresh and new. Spring is closer than you think, and so are those home projects on your to-do list. Maybe winter left its mark, a small leak that's getting bigger, shingles that didn't survive the snowstorms, or siding that's clearly seen better days. Whatever your home is facing, our team of professionals at Newman Roofing are here to help. For more than 34 years, Newman Roofing has been helping homeowners protect what matters most. From your first phone call, you'll notice the difference. Passionate and committed people who care about doing the job right. And with over 1,000 five-star Google reviews, you don't have to take our word for it. If your roof, siding, or gutters need attention, call the family company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof this spring, get a Newman roof.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Hey, Columbus, big news. For a limited time, get Uber One free for a full year, so you could save on food and rides. That's a $96 value on us. Just use code Columbus. Get 1 year of $0 delivery fees, 10% off eligible food and grocery orders, and up to 6% Uber One credits on rides. Sign up for this limited time offer today using code Columbus and save big with Uber One. Offer valid through 3/31/26. Savings and $0 delivery fee on eligible orders and rides only. Fees and terms apply. See app for details.
Jake Diebler's Buckeyes hit the road for a Big Ten battle with Iowa.
Live fan coverage starts Wednesday night at 8.
Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hi, I'm Cherie Sample Hughes, Chair for Women in Government. February is Rare Liver Disease Month. If you're feeling unusually tired, struggling with brain fog, or dealing with persistent itching or body pain, it may be due to liver disease. Fortunately, liver disease is diagnosed with the use of simple blood tests and can help be managed with the right care plan. Talk with your doctor about getting screened and the best steps for treatment. With the right care and support, there's a path forward. Find more at womeningovernment.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see a lingering chance of snow showers, although most of us stay dry and cloudy with highs right around freezing and gusty winds. For tonight, mostly cloudy overnight, our lows down into the teens with the breezy winds continuing, adding that wind chill. That'll continue for us going into Tuesday, although we will be partly sunny and slightly warmer with highs in the upper 30s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Anthony finally hit a hole-in-one.
It's in the hole.
So now what? Just bask in the glory?
And that's how she wrote.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
I was watching the game with laptop, woke up early.
Stayed in bed
down
for
to
this
the basement.
one?
No, down to the basement.
Okay. Because totally understandable.
Yeah.
8, 10 a.m. puck drop. You just stay in bed, don't even brush your teeth, and just turn on the TV.
I mean, I was a buddy of mine who lives out in L.A., and he wasn't getting up at 5 in the morning to watch it, which sucks. But with the closing ceremonies last night, they played it earlier and all that. That's the last medal. Those are the last medals given out.
It was a very interesting closing ceremony. Like, was it like medieval time circus stuff going on? Like, I was out and I saw it on the TV. I couldn't really pick up the vibe of what they were really. I was kind of creeped out. I saw like some some doll heads on some spikes. I don't know what was happening. Did you?
No,
watch
that part I missed.
It was strange.
Very Game of Thrones.
It was very strange.
But I'm watching on the laptop and I'm going through the nostalgia of 1980, and I missed this. I didn't know that there was a made-for-TV movie called Miracle on Ice in 1981. They threw it together right after they won it all. And they had some famous actors in it. And Carl Malden played Herb Brooks, although he was a lot older in real life than Herb was, I think, at the time. And I even mentioned this name, Steve Guttenberg, yesterday, who played Jim Craig, or last week. That name, it's cosmic stuff. Why would I would
happens to you a lot.
I don't know why I would have mentioned that name. And then 3 days later, I see that he plays Jim Craig in a made-for-TV movie.
You speak a lot of things into existence. Can you speak into existence me winning the lottery? Can you make that happen?
Then it's 3 days a week, not 5. So I'm watching this movie while I'm watching the game a little bit.
Okay.
And it was a 2-hour movie. And it's not that great. It was thrown together.
Yeah.
But for the time, it meant a lot. And the reason the movie was so great was that they used all the footage from the real games. Whereas the Disney movie Miracle, they did a miraculous job finding these actors who could play these guys that could skate and really orchestrate the hockey. And that's how I've always judged sports movies in a way. Like, how real does the sports look?
Because some of these sports movies that we've seen, it's dicey.
Yeah,
some of the action
gotta have the right guys,
like
right?
This dude looks goofy trying to run a football or swing a baseball bat. Like, that ain't it.
Yeah.
You're not selling me on that.
And Tirico's interviewing Eruzione, the captain of the 80 team, who wasn't viewed as a great player, but a really good leader. And the ones that they voted that they wanted him to be the captain, that the players voted in this made-for-TV movie, and they wrote it down on a piece of paper. Who you voting for? And, Rizzo or whatever. And Brooks was very hard on him. And there was in the movie, I didn't know this, Herb brings him into his office and says, like, maybe you're not even going to be a player. Would you rather be a coach? And he winds up scoring the game winner against Russia. And so there's so many cosmic parts of this. But as I'm watching that game, I really thought I had my DVR almost in forward almost. I thought the pace of that game in the first 5 minutes, the hits, there was no talking. There were only 3 shots on goal. They were all by Canada. That's the first 5 minutes of the game. And I'm really believing they were going 100 miles an hour. It was like a video game. It was watching guys like buzz around. You didn't even think they were human beings. That's how fast that game was going. And the first shot on goal by the USA is Matt Boldy splitting those 2 guys, settling that puck down, and beating Bennington. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. First goal of the game. First shot on goal of the game. And then later it was Austin Matthews passing off a puck right in front, like trying to make the cute extra pass, right? A little too much French pastry, as I always say. And then mid-second, the best player in the world, McDavid, is on a breakaway, and he waits too long to deke Hellebuck, and he gets in too tight, and he doesn't even get a shot off. And then Canada goes on a 5-on-3 for 1:33, and we kill it off. Like, it was one after the next. And when Makar broke the seal to tie it at 1-1, I'm like, all right, now we got a game. They win the face-off, way too much time and space on the weak side, ring it up, we're tied. And then when Faber looked like he hit double post, it looked like he hit double iron. At least that's what they were saying. I got to go back and look. And then the Hellebuck save on Taves.
Incredible.
At the 9, at whatever mark that was. And then Hellebuck stops a breakaway by Celebrini. And then all of a sudden, McKinnon misses a wide-open net. And I'm not talking about from the point.
And you're like, how is this happening?
There. And it was
what is
one
going on?
after the next, after the next.
Right.
And then I think we dodged a too many men on the ice penalty for sure at about the 8-minute mark. And then Bennett high sticks Jack, and it's a double minor. He's drawing blood. The teeth are gone. Olchik saying he's picking up his teeth. And now we're on a power play for 4 minutes at the 6:30 mark. And this is it. If we score, I think we win. If we don't, they get massive momentum because they kill it off. And what happens? A couple of chances, and then we get called for a high stick. And so it's 4-on-4 for about 49 seconds. And then Canada's on a power play for 1:10. And Celebrini has 2 of the most grade A chances I've ever seen. And they don't finish. So it's a non-finish. So Canada is on their bench going, I can't believe we're not up 4-1 right now. And the USA is thinking that we're hanging by a thread. So I looked at that as a wash. So now we're going in overtime as an absolute wash. Like it's not a wash from a talent edge. You never know. Possession is king. And when Binnington makes the glove save to start overtime on Quinn, I was like, oh no. Like you said, like he made the first big save, and then we lose possession, and then all of a sudden that play that we talked about in the first segment happens, and then it's on. And there's an old saying, sometimes your best player has to be your goalie. And when your best player is your goalie, you always have a chance. And Connor Hellebuyck is one of those guys that can be the X factor, and he certainly was in that game. Now, you can't give it him for McKinnon missing the wide open net. And is there a lot of luck to his save on Taves? I get
got to catch those breaks,
but he's got to get that paddle back over there to do it. And then you just live on those, and then you get the mental advantage, knowing that they believe they should be up, that they're outplaying you. And here we are. So it's one of those things, and Jack Hughes is clearly the hero in a lot of ways. But Hellebuyck with the 41 saves and a 976 save percentage and giving up one goal against that team had to have that type of performance. Unbelievable. Had to have it. Yeah. Had to have it. You got a soundbite from our friend Jack Hughes over there. Let's fire that off. And he obviously was in his emotions.
Such an incredible game to grind out. I mean, you're bleeding right through it just looking at you right now. Can you just talk about how difficult this gold medal was to win?
Unbelievable game by Hellebuyck. He was our best player tonight by a mile. Unbelievable game. Unreal game by our team. That's just a ballsy, gutsy win. That's American hockey right there. That's a great Canadian team, but we're USA. We're so proud to be Americans. Tonight was all for the country.
Incredible.
Gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. And if you're Jack AR, you gotta keep the grill this way for the rest of the season, right? Like that can't get fixed until the off season, right? I'm keeping the grill like that if I'm Jack. Got to.
It sounds like you can talk okay. Like, it's not lisping too much. Yeah. Like, I think it's about that. If I had to go through the whole season with a lisp, I probably would get it fixed. There's a shot at the end of 1980 when 2 days later, somehow they find a way to beat Finland. And remember, they were down in that game, too. Mm-hmm. So, Maddie, there was a game early on where they had to tie Sweden in 80 in the final seconds. And if they don't tie Sweden in the final seconds, they may not even make the medal round. And so, obviously, we look at the Russia game as the biggest game, which clearly it is because of the discrepancy. But if they don't win that game, we don't have a miracle on ice. And so they get through that, and then 2 days later, they got to beat Finland somehow. Other people forget that. They had to beat Finland, that the Russia game was not for the gold medal. So they come all the way down and get back up. Yeah. And they win that game. And in the final 10 seconds, I think they pan over to the bench, and Jack O'Callahan is over there, and he's smiling, and he's missing his two front, and it's iconic, but it's so eerie how they pan over and he's smiling, and we have Jack smiling with no teeth, and that's a hockey player, and they brought it home, and I can't wait to visit with Z whenever we get a chance, because obviously they're flying home, and he's probably going to go to D.C., and I don't know whether he's playing in the game Thursday or not.
Knowing he'll probably play.
I don't know. But we'll certainly talk a lot more about this with, guess who's going to do the radio Hattie?
Lars coming out of the pen
Coach
again?
Lars. We'll have him on the horn at 2 o'clock because that was a treat to watch. And I'm sure even though he's a proud Canadian, I'm sure that he certainly looked at that game as being an absolute win for the sport of hockey. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're going to come back in 2 minutes with our friend Tom Luganbill, and it's the IU sequel versus the world and what he expects from Ohio State this season. That's next. Rothman Ice on the Fan.
BMI Federal Credit Union is celebrating their 90th anniversary. As a thank you, they will be celebrating with monthly sweepstakes where 90 winners will win big. Visit bmifcu.org/90 years for more details.
Germain Honda of Dublin cares about your vehicle and your time, and they do that with same-day service with no appointment necessary. Sell them your vehicle at their buying center and get paid as soon as the same day. Shop great lease and finance offers on all the Honda favorites, like the Passport, the Odyssey, and the redesigned Pilot. Service it, sell it, or drive something new. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at germainhondaofdublin.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with bad feet? Hi, it's Mike from the Good Feet store. I'd like you to hear what Kelsey, a kinesiologist, has to say about how your feet can affect your entire body.
When the foot's placed in the ideal position, everything else up the kinetic chain works better. You have better balance, more energy, you're going to feel better. Being able to move freely means everything to me, and good movement starts with the feet. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that they support all 4 arches in the foot.
So did you even know you had 4 arches in each foot? Most people don't, and most shoes and inserts only support one of your foot's arches. Learn how Good Feet arch supports can support all 4 of your arches. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Trade in your bad feet for good feet at the Good Feet store. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM.
Rothman Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. Our friend Tom Luganville, it's been way too long, but what a start to 26, Tom. And that the Indiana Hoosiers win the title in football and USA conquers Canada finally to win gold. What a start to the year, huh?
Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. I was at my local Irish pub at 8:30 in the morning yesterday, rooting on the red, white, and blue, and proud to do it. I'll tell you that right now.
It was amazing, and the fact that it's so inspiring. And I started thinking about, the inspiration that all these. I mean, we have Zach Wierenski on, the great American defenseman, every couple of weeks on our show here in town, and I asked him about a month ago. I said, what have you been up to lately getting ready for the Olympics? And he goes, my wife and I decided to show her the movie Miracle. Like she had not seen it. He says to us. He says to us that she hadn't seen it. And I started thinking to myself that the same way the kids after 1980 were inspired, this group has now just inspired all the future Olympians that will come forward now that couldn't relate to 80. I know it's different with college kids, but that's what they did yesterday. They just inspired the whole next generation, potentially, of USA hockey players. And remember, Austin Matthews grew up in Arizona, and Hughes grew up in Florida. Yeah. This isn't Massachusetts and Minnesota and Michigan the way that 80 team was.
No, it's amazing how the sport has grown. And you're right, going from college kids to pros and where these guys come from now. And, you think about it like, guys, anybody that's over 45, 50 that, was somewhat old enough to remember when that was happening and hear the Al Michaels call and was alive to experience it. Even if you were a young kid, you can still remember that. And these guys on this team, they just heard it. They've watched the movie. They've heard the stories. They've heard Jim Craig talk about it, Mikey Ruzioni talk about it. And now they've just created their own miracle. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It really is. It's absolutely crazy. And I mentioned to AR, Tom, it's one of those moments where I'll never forget where I was when that puck goes in from Hughes and the place just goes nuts, right? Special stuff. So, as you know, college football never sleeps, especially here in Columbus. And we've got this Buckeye football team having to get into the lab and figure some things out. The last couple times we saw them, Tom, things did not go well for them down there on the trenches. When you look at Ohio State turning the page into 2026, what are your thoughts on maybe some building blocks they need to put in place to have more of a successful season?
Well, I tell you, I was on the sideline at that Cotton Bowl game, and I had not seen maybe ever an Ohio State team get beat up like that up front on that particular day. That was a rarity. That doesn't happen. And so I think what it is it's further proof that offensive and defensive linemen are becoming more and more difficult to come by. You can have all of the skill guys you want. You can have running backs, wide receivers, and safeties and corners and this and that. But if you don't start there, then your team's only going to go so far. And that's been the common denominator in the college football playoff going all the way back to the start of the BCS. And so, I think if you're Ohio State, you know what the core nucleus is. You know what you have. You know that by and large you have a better roster from a talent profile than, the vast majority of college football teams out there. But when you are like that, and then it gets down to the best of the best, it now becomes a razor-thin margin of error, right? And so, watching that game and looking at what happened up front, it surprised me. And so I think obviously the focus is to get back to reinvesting in that position. Obviously, from a linebacker position, you're going to have some losses that are going to come off of that defense that were really, really productive guys, obviously on the back end as well. But the pieces of the puzzle are in place, I think, for a good nucleus. But this is a position that across the board in college football, everybody's seeking them, and there's not enough of them out there.
With there's been a lot of talk about Ohio State's schedule this year and how brutal it could be. But listen, you got the tournament, still 12 teams getting in. Ohio State proved that they can come from deep in this tournament, win it. They did it the other year. But if I asked you, what do you think the toughest game is on their schedule? At Texas, home at Indiana, home against Oregon. They do have to go to Iowa and USC. They'll get Michigan at home. Does the Texas one still win that argument, at least on paper, or no? Or does Indiana win it?
I think the Texas game on the road, because it's early and because this is going to be a much more experienced Texas team, is probably the one that sticks out to me the most. And I'll tell you the other one. And listen, obviously, you've got to believe in Indiana now if you haven't already. But the game the following week on the road at SC, I think is a really intriguing matchup because SC is going to have. You hire Gary Patterson on the defensive side. Their personnel has improved on that side. They've got their quarterback returning. This could be an SC team that finally, maybe under Lincoln Riley, is good enough to understand that on defense to compete for a championship, it just can't be a Lincoln Riley coached offense. So that 2-game stretch where it's really a 3-game stretch at Indiana, at SC, and Oregon could be the defining moment of the season.
You brought up Indiana, so let's kind of lock in on some of their offseason additions, specifically at the quarterback position, because Cignetti and his crew have done a good job the last couple of years at that spot. And it looks like Mendoza, right, is going to be the number 1 overall pick. So now, Tom, for the folks maybe in our neck of the woods that don't know much about Josh Hoover, didn't lock in a lot on TCU, what are they getting down there in Bloomington this upcoming year?
Well, he's a little bit different than Curtis Rourke and Fernando Mendoza were in terms of size and stature and kind of what they bring to the table. Josh Hoover is going to be more undersized. He's built more like of a Baker Mayfield type of player, and he actually plays that way too. He's kind of got a riverboat gambler mentality. I mean, he's thrown for 10,000 yards in 3 years and has been highly, highly productive. I do think he needs to cut down a bit on some of the risk that he takes because, as I reference, he's a bit of a gunslinger, and you don't want to coach that out of him. But you also got to make sure that you're careful with the football and you make wise decisions. And so I think that he's a guy that when you look at how Indiana got to this point, they invested in age and experience. And that's exactly what they're doing this time around as well, whether it's, Joe Brunner out of Wisconsin. There's others out of that group that are older that have played a lot of football. A.J. Harris at the corner spot. Turbo Richard is another guy that's a running back coming out of Boston College that played for 2 years in a row. Now, their mode of operation and their blueprint, which everybody's going to start emulating, is don't worry about what somebody's name is. Don't worry about what they were ranked coming out of high school. Have they started 20, 25, 30 games? Have they been multiple-year starters? Are they redshirt juniors? Are they redshirt seniors? Are they graduates? Because that right there was what was the separator between Indiana and everybody else. It's hard to be old in college football. It's hard to play with redshirt juniors and redshirt seniors across the board. Indiana's been able to pull that off. We'll see if they'll be able to pull it off for 3 years in a row.
Our friend Tom Luganbill does a great job covering college football at ESPN, the ACC Network, Sirius XM, and a lot more with us now on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Give me your quick thoughts on Michigan and the snapback. I mean, it feels like, as bad as it was for them, that they did rescue this hire, that Whittingham is a polar opposite, old school, clean guy, put together a pretty good staff here. Do you expect instant results, or is this going to be a semi-rebuild for them?
No, I expect really good results. I do. I think that, what you're going to have stability. You're going to have consistency from a leadership standpoint. There will be a high level of expectation of what will be expected from the players in terms of performance. And you're getting Bryce Underwood in year 2. He's gotten the speed bumps out of the way, and you're going to have a devoted quarterback coach to work full time with him. Jason Beck is an offensive coordinator, I think, has been really dazzling going back to his time in New Mexico in terms of dialing things up. Very, very diverse, multiple offense, lots of, shifts and motions, a lot of different formations. And now you're going to get a quarterback who not only is a runner, but I think will grow leaps and bounds as a passer. I mean, this is a team that won a lot of football games last year and played average to below average for the most part of the season at the quarterback position. So the timing of this thing might be right for a nice little recipe. They did a really good job, I think, in the transfer portal. And they're going to have some high school guys coming in. I think Savion Hyder, the running back's a guy that can play right away for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how the team responds to what the standard's going to be, because Kyle Whittingham, you're going to love to play for him, but you're going to know where you stand because there are no shortcuts with him.
Well done, my man. Always appreciate you jumping on. Be well. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Tom Luganville, ESPN college football analyst, recruiting specialist, and sideline here on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We come back with a little breaking news. Will Matt Patricia's journey continue at Ohio State or somewhere else? We have some definitive news. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Great Lakes Hyundai wants you to save your refund this tax season with 90 days of no car payments and 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucsons for up to 60 months. No payments, 90 days, 0%. Keep your tax money in your pocket. Go now for the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, some customers may not qualify. Interest accrues during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/2.
Winning isn't everything, but at Tim Hortons, every day's a chance to win when you play Roll Up to Win. Maybe it's a free coffee or donut, or a year's supply of fuel from Shell. That goes a long way. Maybe it's a Kobo e-reader, or up to $1,000 in Uber Eats gift cards, or even a VIP getaway to see Cirque du Soleil. Okay, not something you win every day. Roll Up to Win, only at Tim Hortons. No purchase necessary. 18 plus. Ends March 22nd, 2026. Tim Hortons app required for digital game. Use the app to reveal digital rules. Game cups while supplies last. Offer a chance to win food and beverage prizes only. See official rules at rolluptowin.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You've got one life, and it's too short for not nows, maybe laters, and tomorrows. If you're noticing issues with ED or low T, then your relationships, your confidence, and even your career has already been affected. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic, and some are even unsafe. Guys, no more excuses. Columbus Men's Clinic has a medical provider focused solely on ED and low T. The right way. No unproven snake oil or peptides without solid research. They've been helping men get safe, effective treatment for over a decade. Call 614-300-7400 right now or book online in under 30 seconds at columbusmensclinic.com. Their medical foundation means freedom to practice medicine the right way. not confined by one-size-fits-all pills. Plus, there are treatments that can help you maintain what you've got. Just like going to the gym to maintain muscle, there's ways to keep ED and low T at bay without a pill. It's time to show up for your family and your life like never before. Turn your tomorrows into today. Call 614-300-7400 or book online in under 30 seconds. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com.
Registration for the Fan 5K is now open. Join your favorite personalities June 20th at Otterbein University. The Fan 5K features a medal, t-shirt, free race photos, and a post-race party.
Get your spot today at 971therace.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Hey folks, winter is here. The number one cost for everyone each month are those pesky heating bills that never stop increasing. It is time to take action and do something about it. Call USA Insulation today and get your home insulated with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. That's right, $99 a month. You can have a warm, cozy home that you and your family deserves. 529-2440, 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation. Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Buy 4 windows and get 4 free plus an extra 10% off from windownation.com.
All right, just in the last maybe 15, 20 minutes, the Columbus Dispatch is reporting that Ohio State has reached a new agreement with defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. And that Ross Bjork, AD, says he was always committed to staying here. I don't have any other real details on it, Matty, yet.
Yeah.
But he's officially back for next year from what I know.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. No, so this is obviously good news if you are a Buckeye fan. I mean, Patricia comes in and the defense was as sharp as any unit in the entire country, right? And we just saw them from Texas all the way down, for the most part, just have so much bite and just really made life difficult for offenses on Saturdays, right? And you think about what he was able to do with a guy like Arvell Reese and catering to his skill set. Sometimes he was a pass rusher, sometimes he was an off-ball linebacker. And I think that's really impressive for a coach to come in year one, identify the personnel he has, and especially a guy like Arvell, who had been waiting his time to really pop off the way that he did and know what to do with him right away. And it wasn't just Arvell. Sonny Styles, some other guys really put together some really, really good, put out some really good tape out there under Matt Patricia's watch. And so now you always want this kind of momentum, right? Especially when it comes to recruiting and what you can do with the portal and defensive players, knowing that if I go to Ohio State and Patricia is there, I'm going to play in a really, really good system, an aggressive system. And as a coach, that's going to know what to do with me and turn me into a dude and make me a pretty popular prospect potentially for the NFL.
Yeah, I think all the evidence we need is certainly this past season, but the deal with this group when Patricia was signed and to replace Jim Knowles was that he was taking over defense that returned like 3 starters from a unit that was number 1 in total defense and scoring defense. So they had 8 dudes leaving, including the entire defensive line, and so all those guys got picked in the spring and here at the draft, and now here they hire him to come in here as an ex-NFL guy, and he certainly had a good pedigree working under Belichick for 6 seasons, and he started calling the defensive plays there, and he didn't even have the title. And I think that's what Belichick does to kind of take the heat off guys. You don't give him the title, but he was the defense coordinator of their two of their Super Bowl wins. And he was on staff as an offensive assistant for them in one of their titles as well. So it was the 3 seasons as the head coach of the Detroit Lions in 2018, 19, and 20 that people kept pointing to. But he didn't forget how to coach defensive football. Right. Yeah, he went 13, 29, and 1 in 3 seasons. And I get that people were like, you get to the top of the mountain and then tumble down it, which he did as a head coach in the NFL. it almost made it better that he could go back into his one lane. You and I've actually brought up this analogy to you on the air before, that, in our business, we come in, we talk basketball, we talk hockey, we talk tennis, we talk golf, we talk football, we talk whatever. And now take maybe your favorite sport, your absolute favorite that you've watched since you were a little kid, that whenever you have spare time, that's what you're watching. And now if someone said to you, hey, I want you to tell me just about that sport, you'd be like, here I go.
I'm about to cook.
Come on, man.
I'm about to cook.
Crack the mic and let me go.
Exactly.
Because that's your baby.
Yes.
And his baby was defense.
No question about it.
And it is defense. And so I think that was a big deal to it, that he didn't have to, quote, run a company anymore. Oh. He just was in his lane, and it's worked out great.
No doubt, man. Could just lock in every day over there at the Woody, X and O it up on defense. And, there were so many people talking about that Texas game. Well, I remember we played a clip from, I believe, Bruce Arians, right? Former head coach in the NFL himself. And he was on McAfee's show, and he was identifying all the different exotic looks and the confusion that was going through Arch Manning. And I think that comes from all the experience that you're talking about. Is you can bring that stuff that you can do at the NFL level and bring it down to this level, and guys that are playing quarterback, running back, receiver, whoever it is on offense, they haven't seen a lot of that, if they've seen that ever at all. And so it was a two-part thing for me, is what he did on his side, but also the players being able to grab hold of that and go out there and execute it as quickly as they did too. Because sometimes a coordinator can come in on either side of the ball, and it could take time. We saw it with Jim Knowles, right? The back end of Jim Knowles' time here, the defense was good, really good. But those first couple of seasons, we were talking a lot about guys being out of whack, out of position, big chunk plays being given up on defense. None of that out of the gate. And so this is obviously great again that he's going to be here. We don't know as far as what the numbers look like and years and money just yet. But at least this is being reported, and it sounds like it's pretty official coming from the dispatch that Patricia is going to be here for the foreseeable future. And so now he's got another challenge in front of him, right? Because there's a lot of new faces and guys that are in-house that are ready to make some noise, with some guys that are going to have to come out of that portal and be ready to go as well. So I'm sure Patricia's been grinding the tape on what they've done well at their, whether it's Bama or wherever they're coming from. And now he's got to get those guys in order, because we know the standard is the standard here, and his standard is going to remain, and he's going to expect to roll out a tremendous defense every single Saturday.
Absolutely. And he's the right guy. And he's proven that. So keep that conveyor belt going. But the pressure never stops.
No,
that's for sure.
It doesn't stop. And what's going to help him, AR, is, hey, when you're looking at, a couple first-round picks maybe from that defense, and Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, and those guys are going to be over in Indy, probably making some noise this week. Some reports, AR, that those guys are going to work out on the field, which they probably didn't need to do that, because a lot of the mock drafts we've seen those guys are top 15, both Arvell and Sonny Styles. But that's what you want, right? Is to go into living rooms or talk to guys coming out of the portal and say, you come play for me, you got a chance to be this guy or maybe even better.
All right, the sad state of affairs for Ohio State basketball is more of the same. A game they probably shouldn't have been in, that they were in, that they had a chance to win and came out on the losing end. So I can look at this as, well, you'd miss Mobley and Royal before the game, then that's a depleted lineup, and I don't expect you to win. And the fact that they played them to the horn, I think, is admirable. I think we can all say when you're down 7 with 20 seconds and all of a sudden you got a chance, which they did, because then they were down 3 with 14 seconds. It was amazing. Like, I watched to the end, and I will tell you that what changed is what was supposed to change, which is that there's no way Ohio State could go 40 minutes with that lineup and have it not come back and haunt them eventually. Yeah. Because in the beginning, they were beating Michigan State 22-8 in the paint. I couldn't believe, it was outstanding. And I knew this was kind of a game where maybe they could stay with them athlete to athlete. But this is before I knew Royal wasn't going to play for being sick. And so, and we could talk about that a lot more probably this week. But I feel like when you're up 22-8 in the paint and you feel like you've got a pretty good handle on this game. But what happened was what happens all the time to them that I've seen lately. Is they get to the end of the game and they start settling for threes, and when they don't go in, the game goes the other way. And that's what happened. Yeah. When they lose the lead and they start, that game was tied with 9 to go. And they were down 4 with 5 to go. Game's gettable. And it was missed three after missed three. And then Michigan State took advantage of those misses, and there's your ball game.
100%. I thought a couple of those threes were decent looks, and you just obviously it's a make or miss game, and they didn't make them. But one thing that just kind of stuck with me coming out of the game was, again, another opponent for them cleaning up on the boards on the offensive end. 15 offensive rebounds for Sparty yesterday afternoon. Ohio State got out rebounded 43-26. And when you go on the road, you got to clean up in that category. At least you don't want it to be that drastic or that much of an advantage for the team that you're going up against. So the offensive rebounds were an issue for them, and they left a lot of points on the free throw line, man. 59% from the stripe. That's uphill climb. You're making life harder for yourself. And so, yeah, I'm with you off the top. They absolutely showed some fight again as a shorthanded team, but those little finite details within the game, they're not really cleaning up when they need to.
All right, we're going to come back top of the hour. We'll reset with the gold medal game. Former Blue Jacket head coach Brad Larsen will jump on the program. The rivalry has always been real, but now it really got real, and for one reason and one reason only, because we finally beat them. That's next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
So let's talk price, Wilson.
Let's talk about the price, Bob.
I hear it a lot. Leslie, aren't Pella windows a bit more expensive?
The actual retail price is.
But we're not. We've got 5 different window lines for the $300,000 to the $3 million home. All are Pella Elite.
Oh, so when I get on the show, I'm going to have to bid lower. That'll come in super handy someday.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hey there, friends. Bill Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co. It's well known. High Bank is my go-to when I want an award-winning whiskey, but did you also know that they make the best vodka in America? They have 3 incredible spots here in Central Ohio where the food is just as good as what's in the glass. They've got something for everyone. And get this, kids eat half off every Monday. So whether you're sipping on the best vodka in America or simply grabbing a meal with family and friends, High Bank delivers every time. Find a location and a menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Get Eco. ECO.
Hey, Aaron, what are those?
Those are what are known as toilets, Jerry.
Ha ha ha. I know they're toilets, but why are they sitting back to back like bookends?
Congratulations, Jerry. You said the magic word.
Get Eco.
Bookends? Bookends is the magic word?
Take a seat, Jerry.
I choose this one.
A good choice. That is the world's most luxurious toilet.
Really? How much is it?
$6,500, including installation.
What? For $6,500, this thing would have to iron my shirts, shine my shoes, and sing happy birthday to me.
Get Eco.
It does way more than that, Jerry.
I'm switching to the other one. How much is this one?
$650, including installation.
Wow, that's a great deal. What does it do?
It does exactly what you would expect, Jerry.
Huh. From $650 to $6,500. Eco has a toilet for everyone.
Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and you can always trust our HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Bo Bishop has many friends. He calls none of them by their actual names. Let's see, there's Weiss and Bake. And we can't forget about the Blonde. Bootsy, Beansy, NBC, Buddy Garrity, Little Mo with a gimpy leg. The list never ends. And then there's First Friday, which really isn't a Friday at all. He's always the first stop on the Paul Feinbaum apology tour. Tom Tiberi frequently calls him Babe. Oh, and there's a lot of conversation about drinking poo. A lot. You should probably listen to it, because I'm sure my sales pitch makes no sense. Bishop and Friends, weekdays from 9 to noon. The Fan.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. The pencil has been put to paper. The Columbus Dispatch reported Ohio State has reached a new deal with defensive coordinator Matt Patricia for 2026 for athletic director Ross Bjork. While the terms of the deal remain undisclosed, he was set to continue making $2.5 million in guaranteed money on his original deal, which would last through the 2027 season per a public records request obtained by the Dispatch. He was a finalist for the Broyles Award, given to the top assistant in college football. Top 25 college hoops tonight, number 24 Louisville at number 18 North Carolina at 7, then number 5 Houston at number 14 Kansas at 9. MLB spring training, Guardians host the Diamondbacks from Goodyear, Arizona at 3:05. Tanner Bivey starts for Cleveland. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Voted best credit union for the past 8 years in a row by CBUS Top Picks. Visit BMIFCU.org to learn more. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Unless you've been under a rock for the last however many hours, you know that the USA beat Canada in overtime to win the first hockey gold since 1980 in the Miracle on Ice. And the Jack Hughes rocket there at the end, set up by our guy Z with the helper, is pretty amazing stuff. And the entire game was a wild ride. If you joined at the beginning, whether you joined at the middle or in the end, it really doesn't matter. And to kind of parody the line that Al Michaels said in 1980 when he opened the broadcast, there are a lot of people watching that don't know the difference between a blue line and a clothesline. It doesn't matter. And it didn't matter yesterday for a lot of people. And our proud Canadian friend, Brad Larsen, the former head coach of the Jackets, doing the radio Hattie. He was basically our Olympic correspondent all week, and everything we said, it kind of spilled into reality, didn't it, Lars?
It sure did. Yeah, we got exactly what we wanted. Get the U.S.-Canada final, and, man, it did not disappoint. It was outstanding.
The first 5 minutes of the game, it was all hits. There was no talking. There were 3 shots on goal the entire 5 minutes, and was all Canada. And the USA's first shot on goal is a goal by Boldy. But I felt like the pace of that game was on electric. It was literally like you flipped a switch, and they were just buzzing all over the ice. Did you sense that the pace was faster than you even expected?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have this vision in your mind of what it would look like, right? And man, it like I said, it just lived up to everything you had hoped for, and the pace was incredible. I think Brian Boucher did a really good job of talking about that. You know, like in a Stanley Cup Finals, you know, it builds towards a Game 7. You have the longevity of a 4-round playoff and all the bumps and bruises, and fatigue factor. Well, the Olympics is different. I mean, it's a sprint, and you're treated to 3 Game 7s in a row within 5 days, right? The quarterfinal, the semifinal, then the final. So that type of intensity with rest, with the best players in the world, and then you just saw the speed and pace with the entire Canadian team and the U.S. team, the focus, it was just a treat all the way around. And from beginning to end, there was no disappointment in that game. I think if you're a casual fan, if you're a fan of hockey and you're a lifer, I just think if you tuned into that game, you were treated to something very special.
Yeah, it was awesome, Lars. Good to talk to you again. Appreciate your time as always. Last week when you were in, we were talking about Zach Werenski and how this guy, no doubt, is one of the top defensemen in the entire sport right now. That go home goal from Hughes, our guy Z is right there in the middle of it. I don't think anybody was surprised by that. Just run us through your thoughts on his tournament, what we saw over there across the pond in the Olympics, and just what this guy is turning into right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, Zach he's growing and growing and growing, and really, just like the team in the tournament, that's how he was. I just felt like he got better and better and more comfortable in the surroundings. And you never know how guys are going to perform in the big moments, right? And that's the thing. And I've watched Zach very closely. Obviously, had the privilege of coaching him and watch him grow. I remember when he came to Cleveland and went on their run and when they won the Calder Cup, and he was so impressive there. As the games got harder, he just separated himself and got better. And you could just tell he was going to be something special. So as you've seen him grown and in the Olympics there, and man, he comes up with a mammoth play on that goal. He outmuscles McKinnon. And not only that, he gets the puck and makes the next play, and then the rest is history, right? No pun intended there. But he just huge moment for him, and just huge moment for the country. But to be a part of that and how he impacted that, he's just I think this is going to be something that's just going to elevate him even more, right? It just gives you confidence that not only did he play, but he impacted at the highest level, and that's going to carry over in his team here in Columbus.
You know what, Lars, is interesting because I'm glad you brought up the fact that you had him when he was, 18 years old or whenever that was, and then you had him with the Jackets, and now that he's 28 years old and he's been thrust into this leadership role. He's not a big talker, but I don't know whether talkers exist in hockey to some degree. Some talk more than others, but describe that leadership mentality in hockey when you have a guy like Zach who is so soft-spoken. How he leads.
Well, yeah. I think there's lots of talkers, but not enough action is the problem. And Zach is the opposite of that. I think he always would enter the arena with a ton of respect for whoever was talking to him. He was very coachable. I think, he was always trying to get better. And I think defensemen especially, they're the longest to grow. They're the longest to kind of get to that place of maturity, because there's that position, there's so much involved. And, when you're coming from, he was playing in Michigan, was a big part of that and very offensive, but there's the other side of it, right? If you're going to play 25, 30 minutes a night, you have to defend, because those minutes require you to play against, the Braden Points and Kucherov one night, then it's Barkov and Reinhart the next night, and then you're in, Bedard and whoever. So you're playing against top players, and you have to learn how to defend those guys. And I think in that position, when you make big mistakes, right, they end up in your net. As a winger, that doesn't happen. You have layers behind you. So he's always trying to push him into to those areas of defending, and he embraced that. He really has, and his leadership style is. I've noticed it this year, and actually last year coaching against him when I was in Calgary. We played those 2 games back to back there, and you just sense a different player, a confidence about him. His body was healthy. That's a big thing. You go through these injuries and you miss months. It takes time to recover from that. Knock on wood, he's been very, very healthy now, and you see a maturity to him. So one of the best leaders I've ever played with was Joe Sakic. And if you know anything about Joe Sakic, he's one of the most respected players in the game, or player at the time in the game. Played for Colorado, won a few Stanley Cups. Hall of Famer, 600 goals, became a GM, won a, GM of the year, won a Stanley Cup there. Like, the guy's just a winner, but he was a man of few words. But if you knew anything about Joe, when he was in the gym, I mean, he was a tyrant. He was relentless. He worked when he was in practice. He was so competitive. And I see a little bit of Zach in that. He doesn't have to say a lot because his game really speaks volumes. And those honestly are the best leaders, because if and when they talk, you listen. It's not just hot air. It's not just his actions are what really show what a impactful player he is. And then, because when you start holding people accountable, you better make sure that your game is airtight, right? Because now the fingers are pointed back at you. And I think his game is just growing to a level now. And I think you're looking at a guy that's probably a future captain down the road for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I don't think anybody would be surprised with that.
Not at all. Not at all. Dude's absolutely awesome. We were rolling through some of the key moments throughout the game, and AR did a great breakdown off the top. And then we got to what happened in net and how good Hellebuck was. And kind of, Lars, you were talking last week just about how much firepower, how much speed this Canadian team has. And for him to have that performance, I know as a former coach, you got to love when your goaltender can just hold it down the way that he did yesterday.
Yeah. Well, here's how this game here. I mean, it was so good. I've actually seen the game twice because my son was at church. I was staying home with my wife here, and then he come back and we had DVR. I watched it again. It was so good. But anyways, as far as the goaltending performance, first of all, Jordan Binnington was outstanding too for Canada. He didn't have to make as many saves, but man, did he make some key saves. But the number one thing is I'll never apologize for great goaltending, because as a coach, you have to have it, right? And so Hellebuck was outstanding. He, you could say, was he fortunate in some? Yeah. But part of that, you make your own luck and create your own luck in those situations. But he was outstanding all tournament. And for goaltending, if you don't have it, you're not winning. I'm sorry, you cannot go long enough, and you're going to need it in a tournament like that. And man, he came up big at some really, really key moments. He stopped McDavid. I know he didn't really get a shot. He stopped Celebrini. I mean, that save in the crease there with Taves. I mean, he gets his stick on that. Like, just some moments where you're just going, wow, we're not going to beat this guy. And that ended up being the case.
All right, I need 30 seconds from you on the Canada and U.S. because Canada has owned this rivalry since the NHL players got back into participating in 98. They won gold against us in 02 and 10 and shut us out in the semis in 14. And I know we beat you guys in the round robin play in the Four Nations, but when it was the winner take all game, we lost that one. They have a lot of them been very tight, overtime games and all that. Did the rivalry get to just a whole new level? Did anything change for you after watching the USA finally break through?
No, I just think it's just to be continued. ... Right? Like, I think right now you look at Canada in the future. I mean, they got Bedard coming to have Celebrini and be back. You're going to have McDavid. You're going to have McKinnon. You're going to have Makar. You're going to have that Schaefer. Don't forget about Matthew Schaefer. He could have made it this year. I mean, so you got some guys coming. U.S. got the same thing. They're not going to be any short on talent. So I think now, not that it ignites it even more. I think it's already there. I think it's, I heard Eddie Olchuk talking about it, like Canada didn't really think it's a rival. I would disagree a bit. I think this has been coming, the World Junior. You got to remember, these kids play World Juniors, and the U.S. has done a really good job in that. Right? Their program has been building. So this is just getting, I'm already excited for 4 years down the road. I think it's going to be outstanding again. But again, you go back to the quarterfinals, the semifinals. You're one shot away from not getting to that game. Both teams. I mean, it's that hard to get in, and the other countries are coming. So I said this on the radio the other day. You don't win the silver, you lose the gold. So it's really hard to enjoy that moment. That's a medal that you're going to enjoy probably 5 years down the road. And even then, it's going to have a little bit of a bitter taste to it because you lost it. The Finns were excited. They won the bronze, right? So it's a different feeling. I think you appreciate it to finish second best. But, for Canada, the standard is to win gold. And now U.S. is in that same category. They that whole narrative of gold or bust for both those countries, I hope that's squashed, because that game, there was no bust there. Both teams performed. Canada did everything they could. They couldn't get that goal they needed, and it was just we were treated to an incredible hockey game, and just the sport was the winner. I'm telling you, the sport was the winner. To watch that game, I think the casual fan would just understand that was something special.
Yeah. Well done, my man. You made us a lot smarter the last week. We owe you. It was great having you on. You know we'll have you again.
You must have very low expectations. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Lars.
Great insight, Lars. Talk to you soon, my man. Well done.
You bet.
That was awesome. Had him in studio a couple times last week, and the way he talks about hockey, the way he articulates it, it's captivating. All right, we're going to come back. Combine this week. Is Myles Garrett noise going to happen again? We'll give you the latest. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
The rings, the moment, the forever. Make it unforgettable. Join us February 27th and 28th for Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend. Enjoy preferred bridal pricing on wedding bands and engagement rings, now up to 30% off. Visit Diamond Seller on Selma Road or at Easton Town Center.
Germain Honda of Dublin cares about your vehicle and your time, and they do that with same-day service with no appointment necessary. Sell them your vehicle at their buying center and get paid as soon as the same day. Shop great lease and finance offers on all the Honda favorites, like the Passport, the Odyssey, and the redesigned Pilot. Service it, sell it, or drive something new. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at germainhondaofdublin.com.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Select 12-pack cans of Coca-Cola, 6-pack bottles of Pepsi, or 18 packs of Gatorade, or buy 3, get 3 free with your card. Limit 12. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ, because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see a lingering chance of snow showers, although most of us stay dry and cloudy with highs right around freezing and gusty winds. For tonight, mostly cloudy overnight, our lows down into the teens with the breezy winds continuing, adding that wind chill. That'll continue for us going into Tuesday, although we will be partly sunny and slightly warmer with highs in the upper 30s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Rothman and Ice present Free Snap Leads.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
All right, it's always going to be a wild ride when you have a generational player on a team that probably isn't going to compete for much, and that's what we have with Myles Garrett and the Browns. And remember last year during the trade deadline that Andrew Berry said he didn't consider trading him. He really didn't. Garrett requested a trade.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were in New Orleans, and he would tell anybody that would listen.
Had that little.
I got to get out of here.
That handcrafted note.
Yeah.
It's not about going from Cleveland to Canton. It's about winning Super Bowls or something along those lines. And then AR, his agent said, Myles, they got 40 a year for you, big dog. Where do I sign?
Because
where do I sign?
They didn't get better. That's the difference. Like, no one listening thinks that the Cleveland Browns are a better team without Myles Garrett. You're exponentially worse.
100%. And there was, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to just say, this isn't about whether he needs to go. This is about whether you think at this point, this age, this impact, if you have him for another 3-4 years or whatever, at the back end of his prime, what are you going to get out of it? Is it more important to make sure you have him because he's the best defense player in the NFL and plays a premium position, and teams look for decades for a player with that talent equaling that production? It's so hard to give that away at any time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You know, real quick, just going back to where we were last summer with Myles, what kind of threw some people off was the sit down on the NFL Network, where I think it was Andrew Siciliano, whoever it was at the time, was like, "Hey, so you're kind of on board with the quarterback plans, right?" He was like, "Yeah," and he seemed pretty excited about where that was going. And then I think we had the Drennan rumor out there that there was some Dak Prescott stuff floating around, and so I don't think he's ever come back around full circle and really explained what he was told and why he was sold. And maybe it was as simple as the money, but at that time, he seemed pretty on board with the quarterback plans.
So there's two schools of thought there. One, you don't want the fan base and the public to think you're suddenly happy again only because of money.
Right.
Okay? Right. So if you come out publicly and act like, I can't wait to go to work, a lot's changed. Well, what's changed, Myles? The only thing that's changed is his bank account.
Bank account is booming.
And that's what he didn't want.
Right.
So when I say there are two schools of thought, that's one of them. That he had to play a PR card, that there was something in the works, even if he was making it up in his mind, to throw people off the scent, that he only re-signed for the money.
I hear what you're saying.
The other school of thought is exactly what you said, which they were peddling something potentially that would upgrade that position. And I wasn't buying the Dak thing, but I could see why some people would take a nibble off that because it sounded like something that they could do. The other part of this is if you traded him or you traded him again, and let's just say there's a contender, because no one's trading for him that's not a contender, right? So the only team that would trade for Myles Garrett is a Super Bowl contender. We could all agree upon that, because nobody wants to be what the Browns are. Right. A bad team with a great player.
Yeah.
So let's say a Super Bowl contender had offered you 2 first-round picks for him.
Okay.
Now, on paper, that sounds fine. 2 first-rounders for a guy 30 and up. How old is he? 30? 30?
Right
a little older?
I think we're right
All right, so
there.
he's still got prime years left. So I'm starting to fast-forward my mind to say, okay, let's say a Super Bowl contender. Well, a Super Bowl contender, by definition, is not going to be picking in the top 10 of the draft. So those first-round picks are going to be at the bottom of the first round. And there's no guarantee that those were going to be hits, that you could hit on those. So they may still not be as important as Garrett himself. So that's why, in my mind, it doesn't equate. The 2 first-rounders sound great, but where they are is what makes the difference. Now, sometimes you can get 2 first-rounders and package it with a lot to get up there. So it gives you more ammunition to move up.
For sure. But you got to have, as we know, a dancing partner, right? Somebody's got to want to move off that spot. Because I think you're 100% right. But if I'm a team picking up and I'm a quarterback team that needs to really elevate that room there, and there's a good class maybe next year, like with the Arch class and Julian coming in, do I really want to slide down and give that to the Browns? We shall see. I got an idea for you, though. As I want you to put your GM hat on after
feed the mayonnaise right to the tuna.
I got you right here.
All
So
right.
I got an idea because on ESPN, this topic was brought up today. And there was a team presented to, I think, the panel. Maybe Dan Graziano, our guy, was on this. And one team specifically popped up as a potential dancing partner for the Browns if Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland again.
Mike Tannenbaum, what is one big move you'd like to see happen this offseason?
Myles Garrett to the Detroit Lions. Who says no? Again, here's a team in Cleveland that is in a massive rebuild. They have a lot of questions on offense. They have a new head coach in Todd Monken, and they are a ways away from competing in the AFC, given uncertainty at the quarterback position, amongst other places. And then you look at Detroit guys, if they have Aiden Hutchinson on one side and Myles Garrett on the other, with that offense, I think they get to the Super Bowl. They beat Seattle. They beat San Francisco. They beat the Rams. I think they would become the best team in the NFC.
J-Mac, your thoughts? Myles Garrett.
I look at this a year ago, I would have said Mike T, absolutely. We were looking at Myles Garrett complaining about what the future is going to be in Cleveland. He wasn't under contract. They just signed him to that massive deal just last year when the circumstances were really all the same that they are now. It was a team that needed to rebuild, didn't have answers at the quarterback position, and were just trying to figure it out. You fast forward to right now, they're in the exact same situation. So it's hard for me to imagine that they part ways with Myles Garrett now when they wouldn't do it a year ago. But who knows? I'm not mad at the fact of what their situation is. So I understand why Mike T is saying that.
Here's what I got for you, AR. Because I think you're right where you need to be as far as draft pick goes for Myles. I can see a team being willing to give up 2 firsts for him. What if I took 1 first off the board? And if you're Cleveland, you ask for Jamison Williams in a first and a couple other picks. A team that needs some wide receivers. You send him over to Cleveland, we'll take your 1 as well. Does that do it for you? If you're Detroit, you telling Andrew Berry to kick rocks, or you're saying, I kind of like that offer?
I like it. Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, this is, I'm looking at the way the Eagles D-line and how they acquired them. The Eagles, I feel like, look at what the Eagles turned themselves into. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat. Like they drafted all these guys and they acquired them. And I feel like the Browns, if you could turn Myles into that, and then you have certainly the ability to rebuild over time. And you're not winning a Super Bowl right now. And you probably aren't even threatening for one in Myles Garrett's prime. I wouldn't believe. So this is where he might welcome it. Now, his $40 million a year is a lot. They could certainly afford it. And they just signed Aiden to a big, massive deal.
And they're the team that's looking for that last bit of juice in the tank to really get them over the hump, because collectively, both sides of the ball, they have really, really good players, as Mike Tannenbaum was talking about. I mean, they're 3-headed monster with Gibbs and Amon-Ra and Laporta, whoever else you want to include in their offense. They're one of the top 10 in the league at that. But the dream is for a defense to have just elite pass rushers on both sides. I'm with, Jason McCourty there. I don't think the Browns are going to trade him this offseason. I don't see that, but these are the type of teams that are going to be willing to do it, because I think they could see Myles Garrett coming into their building and feeling like this dude could potentially get us that Lombardi trophy.
We're going to come back in 2 minutes with our friend Ian Fitzsimmons, ESPN college football sideline reporter, and get his feel going into the spring. Who has the edge? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Their live golf team name is Ice Dogs. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
My friend, great moments are born from great opportunity. That was a heck of a morning yesterday. Our friend Ian Fitzsimmons, ESPN radio host, he's an analyst, on-field reporter, and all that good stuff. But I'm sure yesterday morning, like all of us, he was locked into the Olympics and gold medal and thinking about 80 and all that nostalgia and everything that goes along with it. And to play Canada in overtime again and feel like, is this the year? And, you know, we just had our former Blue Jackets coach on, Brad Larsen, and I talked about the rivalry and is it real now? And he's like, well, it's always been real, but don't you feel you cover sports at the ultimate rivalry level at college football? And I started thinking, like, until Michigan actually beat Ohio State, the rivalry is such landslided towards Ohio State. We talked about it as the best rivalry in sports, but sometimes the other team has to win one for it to get to just a real feel. Where were you yesterday?
Man, I woke up 6 a.m. Bacon got cranked up. My wife made this raspberry bread, cinnamon roll type damn thing, mimosas, coffee, you name it, man. It was rolling. And I'm with you 100%. You know, when our women beat Canada, I mean, it was a damn celebration around the Fitz-Casa. When our men beat Canada, it was a damn celebration around the Fitzsimmons Casa, man. My daughter, who it was, you know, out at Oregon, that thing, they dropped the puck at 5:10 Pacific time, and she was up and rolling and ready to go. So it was awesome. It was amazing. You know, our lady started it with Hillary Knight, Captain America, becoming one of the best to ever, you know, skate against Canada and wear the red, white, and blue. And then the Kachuk brothers, the Hughes brothers, Hellebuck standing on, just doing cartwheels in the net, man. I mean, it was just absolutely awesome. And I agree with you. It is a hell of a rivalry, but you have to have the other side win every now and then for the pure hatred to crank up on the other side, whether it's Auburn, Alabama, whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, you know, Oregon, Washington, you name it, you know, Texas A&M, Texas, the other side's got to every now and then get you. Man, we got them, and we got them good. So, oh, Canada, we beat your bleeping ass. So there you go, man. It doesn't get much better.
Yeah, you got to love it, man. It was absolutely incredible. So, Fitzy, business is about to pick up over there in Indy, as you know, with the Combine here this week. The most interesting draft-eligible prospect over in Indy in Fitzsimmons' mind is whom?
Oh, man, everyone wants to go quarterback, but I'm not going to go there because it's not that deep a class. But I will guarantee you one thing. About every 3 years, right, we see a quarterback that comes out of a third round, fourth round, UDFA, that just kind of takes us by surprise, whether it's, Dak Prescott, whether it's Brock Purdy, going back to Tony Romo and Kurt Warner, who are UDFAs. So I guess I'll stay with quarterback. Ty Simpson intrigues me because he doesn't check the most valuable box in Bill Parcells' mind. And, Parcells had the quarterback, basically commandments. And one is don't be a Hollywood quarterback. Just do your damn job. And the other is what he said, he would never, ever draft a quarterback that wasn't right around 30 college football starts. Like Joe Burrow started 28. I think watching the tape, you don't have to get to that number 30, right? You think you know what you got in a guy like Joe Burrow coming out of LSU at 28 starts. Well, Ty Simpson's only got 15. Now, he's a coach's son. His dad's a college football coach, as you guys know. But, those 15, when he was healthy, man, 10 of them looked absolutely sensational, especially at night at Georgia between the hedges, and he was damn near perfect. Then, Miller gets hurt at running back. The O-line gets a bit banged up, which means your quarterback gets banged up, and he wasn't the same guy toward the end of the year. So he kind of intrigues the hell out of me, along with Garrett Nussmeier. Nussmeier out of LSU was hurt all season long, going back to fall camp when finally Brian Kelly, the last time we had LSU before he was fired, told me we should have shut him down in camp. And we didn't. And that injury has lingered all year long. So when Nuss is healthy, he's got something to him. Now, last year, obviously, he turned the ball over a little too much, but he's also a coach's son. Doug Nussmeier is his dad, a long-time NFL quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. So those two guys intrigue the hell out of me. And then Reuben Bain, outstanding edge rusher out of Miami. He's not, 6'4", 280, but he's got an attitude about him. He is mean as a freaking disturbed rattlesnake. And his lower end, I'm telling you, you could stack books on his calves. He's a brick house, man. And drop another word in front of it, because he may not be 6'4", he's only about 6'1", but it's a stout, firm 6'1", and when he arrives with bad intentions.
People you talk to, and you and I have covered for a long time, there aren't too many safeties that are usually worthy of a top 5 pick in the modern era. It doesn't happen that much. Maybe in this NFL it could. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, Derwin James, there are some guys that certainly break that mold. The people you talk to, Caleb Downs, absolutely worth a number 5 pick?
Hell yes. Hell yes. Nick Saban told me when he was a freshman at Alabama, he is one of, if not the smartest player he has ever been around. Now, let that sink in when you think about some of the hosses that Saban had at Alabama and LSU. And Michigan State, for that matter, going into Big Ten country. He had some dogs, man, and you're saying Caleb Downs is one of, if not the smartest player that he's ever been around. And look, he's not the tallest guy. He's not the biggest dude, but he is the quarterback of the defense. And I am a huge Caleb Downs fan. And I'm glad you brought up Hamilton. Remember, as the underwear Olympics kicked off, he didn't run very fast. He ran like a 4.5, 8.40 as a safety. And oh my God, his draft stock's going to plummet. Just turn on the damn tape, man. There's 4 things in life that don't lie to you: film, young children, drunks, and yoga pants. That's the list.
Not in that order either.
You got that right, Bubba. You got that right.
Oh, my goodness.
The first one might actually go at the end of that list. Let's give it drunks, kids, and yoga pants.
Yeah, you can't hide anything there.
In the right order.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
You can't hide it. And by the way, yoga pants are also, it's not a privilege, okay? Let's just get that out there as well, right? Some people shouldn't be wearing them damn things because, again, they do not lie. But anywho, back to our regularly scheduled program with Kyle Hamilton. That dude didn't run in a very straight line. Turn the damn tape on. And so when he went to Baltimore, they were like, oh, my God, I cannot believe he dropped to 14. Caleb Downs ain't getting out of the top 10. And he might not get out of the top 5. He is that dynamic of a player. And I don't care how tall he is. I don't care how much he bench presses. The dude is one of, if not, he is one of the top 5 players in all of college football and worthy of a top 5 pick.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster, as we all know, Fitzy. And so, as you know, when teams win championships, dudes start knocking on the GM's door and saying, where is my money? And Jackson Smith and Jigba coming out of the weekend was making it known that yesterday's price is not today's price and throwing it out publicly. Hey, I deserve to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league right now. Any thought in your mind that this is going to be an issue from the front office's side, or is this going to be one of the easiest signings of the offseason for them?
There are 2 priorities. Having been out in Seattle for the NFC Championship game, and then at the Friends and Family Hotel for the Super Bowl, you hear little conversations, right? And I can tell you right now, and this is not from any it's not from John Snyder, who I do believe is the best general manager in all of the NFL right now. He has built not 1 but 2 championship teams with two completely different rosters. And you know how hard that is to do, guys. I mean, damn, that's impressive, man. So. This isn't from Snides or anybody else. It's just kind of, you're wandering around the halls and, you're having your $48 breakfast and at the Super Bowl, which is ridiculous because that's basically, 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon and a biscuit, right? For $48. Not making that up. That's without orange juice. That's just coffee. Bottom line is this. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Devin Witherspoon are 2 of the top priorities for the Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion. Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to get paid. Any Buckeye fan thinking that he might be relocating, he's not going anywhere. He's under team control for 2 more years, but I fully expect him to get paid this summer going into year 4 for the Seattle Seahawks, along with Spoon, 2 Big Ten guys, one obviously right there in your backyard, the other from Illinois. Both those dudes are going to make bank.
When you started saying, I don't care how fast you are, all I started thinking was, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how dumb you are, because I'm going to teach every last one of you how to eat, sleep, walk, talk, shoot, blank, like a United States soldier. Understand?
Welcome to Italy.
Welcome to Italy. Well done, my man. Always good to have you on the program, buddy. We'll talk next week.
You guys are the best, man. Oh, Canada, we beat your bleeping ass. And then Johnny Gaudreau, hello, baby.
Yeah.
If you didn't have if you had a dry eye, you ain't got a freaking pulse.
That's
that was
right.
one of the best things I have seen in sports in a long damn time. There you go.
Right in the fields, that's for sure. See you, brother.
See you, boys.
That's our boy, Ian Fitzsimmons, ESPN reporter, analyst, college football, everything on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We come back with Tell the Truth. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Did winter leave you with a roof leak just as spring approaches? Don't stress. The team at Newman Roofing has you covered. Voted Columbus's best roofing company 4 years in a row. Schedule your estimate by calling 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. There is no end to the amount of stuff in my garage. I've got bicycles. I've got rollerblades. I've got every basketball, football, baseball, hockey puck, lacrosse, you name it, we've got it in there. If your garage looks like mine, that might be one of the reasons you've put off getting your garage floor fixed. Maybe you've got stains and cracks, bad epoxy job. Whatever the case, if your garage looks bad, that feels bad when you pull in there. But I don't want to have to clean out my garage to get my garage floor fixed, right? Well, good news. Comer and Cross concrete floor coatings, they will come and fix your garage floor in just one day. They will take all the stuff out of your garage so you don't have to. Plus, Comer and Cross, they're all certified, uniformed pros, no subcontractors at Comer and Cross. Get your quick and easy Comer and Cross garage floor estimate now. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR is the number. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com. Get a new garage floor in just one day with Comer and Cross.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Got this. Breathe. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
When you're listening to T-Bone and Tyvis, all the F words apply. Football, food, and fun, and fat, and furry. They both have ears. And they dress up like animals and hump things. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan.
Disasters strike, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. Direct Relief delivers. No politics, no red tape. Direct Relief is a lifeline to people in crisis. So check them out at directrelief.org. And if you can, donate.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Your heat seems to be running a lot more than it should. Why? It's because the insulation in your windows has failed. Talk to the pros at Window Nation and get new windows and big savings during Window Nation's Buy 4 Windows, Get 4 free sale. Plus, you could get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Act now and you'll get an extra 10% off for the rest of the month. When your window insulation fails, usually due to old or cheap materials, all of your window's energy efficiency disappears. The result, a house that is cold in the winter and hot in the summer. The worst part is they could have failed years ago and you wouldn't even know about it. Window Nation's windows use top quality materials and seals along with insulated frames. They're so incredibly energy efficient that you'll actually save money on your utility bills. Plus, they're backed with a lifetime warranty, so you won't have to live with broken windows again. Take advantage of Window Nation's Buy 4 Windows, Get 4 free sale and get an extra 10% off now for the rest of the month. Visit windownation.com now for a free consultation.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by McDaniel GM Superstore. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
All right, here he is in the dark studio, ready to take us home.
It looks fine on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. We were messing with the lights, as were you.
Yeah, I can't even really see, like, the glare on the glass. I see more of the Ohio State logo in here than I do you, just through the glass.
You like it that way. You can hide.
I know. So what we determined on this side was that the lighting actually doesn't matter as far as the YouTube goes.
Okay.
And so I can be in complete disguise back here.
So I'm pretty sure we could be in the dark and it wouldn't matter.
That's probably true. So they can't even see right now that you're just repping 3 squads right now at the moment. we got I think Steelers, Ohio State, and the Diamondbacks.
Hey, at least they're 3 different sports.
Unreal. Guy just came from Goodwill.
That's the best I can
got a great deal on these 3 items.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. All right, what do you got, big dog?
First of all, everyone an apology for a terrible question last week. When we had the overs and unders segment, and I said, how many more snows before St. Patrick's Day? Over, under a half. That got beaten one day.
It was literally snowing all day yesterday. From the time I got up, went to the gym to watch the game, until I came home last night at about 8 o'clock, AR. Flurries all dang day.
I told you guys last week, it's February. We live in Columbus, Ohio. We got the big T's of the 60s, but as my dad always said, one day of this is one less day of the other.
Here for that.
And so don't look at it as it was just a big tease. We wiped away a week and a half of winter. Look at it that way.
Okay.
We were in the freezer for 2-3 weeks straight. Then they let us out, like The Shining. We found a way out of the freezer. And now they kind of threw us back in for a couple days.
And look, I don't want to do too much complaining, because what some of the folks are dealing with on the East Coast right now,
a
couple feet of snow out there, that's some nasty work. So, yeah, hopefully everybody's good over there. But yeah, I wasn't too happy yesterday, to say the least.
I think it was one of his
over.
easier ones. I think if we go back to Friday, I think I gave you a pretty big emphatic. It might even happen this weekend. Like we didn't even have to wait.
And it did.
And it did.
Find that audio, Cole.
Story of my life. Did Roger ever get back to you?
Oh, on the dumb rankings?
So Roger,
the dumb waiter,
listener Roger, who declared that I'm the second most annoying personality without telling us who the first is, which is my biggest problem with his email.
I don't know if the word was annoying. I think it was dumb.
He said dumb?
Yeah, I think it was dumb.
Whatever.
Dumb versus annoying, I think, is...
What would you prefer?
What would you prefer?
Annoying.
I agree.
Well, no, because annoying can be more like inconsiderate and...
I don't even care about that. I'm upset with
dumbest.
I'm upset with him for not giving us who was first.
Sometimes it just depends.
That's more important than that.
Sometimes it just depends on what part of the country you're standing in as to just how dumb you are.
You dropped that. He's dropped that before.
Schindler's List.
No. TLC, we know this.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
He's brought this club out of the bag before. This is...
You recognize this movie line?
Yeah, I really do.
I don't know if he does.
I promise I do.
Dude, they all run together.
I feel like obviously I've been letting you down for years doing this.
Oh,
and by the way, my friend listened to the show and he said,
he's the one.
You guys haven't.
We knew we had one.
But that's our guy.
He's the one.
That's our
We found him.
Listener. You guys having multiple theme songs ain't it?
No good.
You guys got to just pick one. Right. Well, it just we got to stick with one for a period of time. You know what I mean?
We're going to get tired of hearing the same one over and over again.
We just got to figure, is it every 2 weeks, every month, whatever. Or just, shout out to my guy. But AR, what's the movie? But you said that before. You really have.
You want me to say it again?
Bad News Bears.
Oh, my gosh.
When you tell somebody something, it depends on what part of the country you're standing in as to just how dumb you are.
Forrest Gump.
No.
Cool Hand Luke.
I kind of went with a little bit too much of an accent. There's probably too much of an accent there.
I like how he said it in an accent as if that would tell us the movie because there's only one movie that has a southern accent in it.
I have a lyrical way of cutting through the BS.
We haven't seen it.
Or what is it? Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, Smokey and the Bandit.
What year?
Burt Reynolds.
What year was that?
77, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I was born in 99. How about you, Ed?
Born in...
don't use that. Can't use it.
Okay. No?
Nope.
Like,
you know my comeback.
Smokey?
You know my comeback.
What is your comeback?
Have you seen The Wizard of Oz? That was from 1939.
We were forced to watch that in school.
But you've seen it.
No, there's a difference.
You've seen it.
I don't think I would
forces anybody to watch The Wizard of Oz. I think you didn't.
It was a thing in school though. Like, hey, when they rolled in the TV with the little VCR, that was the best actually.
Oh yeah, the audio visuals guy. The AV room?
It was a thing growing up where I think a lot of kids, we had to watch The Wizard of Oz in school.
It's always my comeback.
I don't know if
I wasn't even born then. Have you seen The Wizard of Oz? Yeah? Well, that was in 1939.
I think it's a little different.
All right.
I think it's a little different. I'll sit down and watch Smokey and the Bandit tonight. Will that make you feel better? You don't have to.
Reagan, the actor?
That's one of my favorite ad libs, by the way, when you were trying to come up with another deal and he goes, Ronald Reagan. I'm like, the actor? Nobody picked up on that either. All right, go ahead.
Who's vice president? Jerry Lewis?
I'm very excited to hear and answer this honestly for me. All right, would you pass the ball when your team is dribbling out the clock? It's a blowout basketball game, and your team is going to run out the shot clock and just concede the possession. Would you pass the ball to avoid getting the registered turnover?
And just give it to my boy instead?
Yep, hot potato that thing. You take the turnover.
I'm going to answer that I'm going to answer that honestly. I didn't even know. I wouldn't even have entered my mind until you said it. I didn't even remember that was a turnover on you. I thought it was just a shot clock violation, and no one gets attributed with the individual turnover. You're telling me that guy gets the individual turnover?
Well, I thought. And now your
really make any
lack of confidence is me giving me a lack of confidence.
No.
Well, I thought this was rooted in research.
No, I don't know that for a fact, but it would be very unfair to give that to the guy who just happens to have the ball.
Okay.
What if a guy's diving for a 50-50 ball in the shot clock?
Did I make him a rule?
I don't know. I think I want to find out if you made up that rule. Because that's what went into my mind.
While he's looking that up, AR, I do like that the NBA this year, the half-court heaves when the shot clock is winding down, those don't count anymore as a shot attempt against your personal stats, which I think is cool because now there's a little bit more action going in and out of the quarters because usually guys would just hold on to it right when the buzzer was going off. Now they let it go and it doesn't count against your shot attempt. That's a good job by the NBA.
Yes, it's a turnover if your team is in control of the ball when the shot expires.
As a team turnover, not the individual.
So you're saying like the box score doesn't get credited to that player?
No, it would be a team.
It has to,
in my mind, it would be a team turnover. It wouldn't be.
Somebody has to have it in the box score.
I think they just add it to the team turnovers.
Well,
it says in most cases, no. I don't want to. All right, I'm not going to read the whole exception.
Don't do it now.
It's possible.
Spend the next 2 hours figuring it out.
We got to go. Hey, you missed anything from our show today? Don't worry. You can always catch up wherever you get your podcast. All you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice, everything we do from noon to 3. We'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Common Man and Timmy coming up next. Common Man is back in the building. Tales from the Olympics. He's going to have some good stuff for you guys. Don't move. 3 to 6 coming up right now.
Hit you tomorrow at high noon for a full 3 hours. Thanks for listening. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio Sports.